Donald Trump got humiliated by Jerome Powell, and then to add insult to injury, we have Lawrence O'Donnell just twisted in the knife. This is all happening as Donald Trump is saying that he wants to potentially charge Jerome Powell with fraud. He handed then Jerome Powell a piece of paper, which I'll show you in just a moment, where then Jerome Powell fact-checked him in real time, and it was pretty humiliating. Here is Donald Trump in the Oval Office saying that, wrongly by the way, that Jerome Powell has potentially been fraudulent.
Quiet. Go ahead.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you mentioned fraud in an earlier answer. Are you saying you want to investigate the Fed chair for fraud related to this renovation?
Well, I think he's already under investigation. He spent far more money than he was supposed to on rebuilding. I didn't see him as being the kind of guy that would want to have parks, rooftop parks and everything else on top of buildings. But who wants to spend that money for the Fed? The Fed is supposed to sit there and say where interest rates are going and a couple of other very easy things to do. And he spent $2.5 billion. I think he's got some problems.
Now, let's just keep in mind that, first off, that's all a lie. Secondly, the reason why Donald Trump is bringing this up is because he wants to be in control of the Fed, which is not great. And it's actually one of the signs you're in an authoritarian country is when the leader of that country also is in charge of its finances. Not a good situation. Secondly, the reason why he's doing this too is to distract from what? The Epstein files. We're not going to let it distract us. We're going to bring it up right now. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files and he doesn't want them out. Release the Epstein files. Now, secondly, we have this incredible moment where it feels like a scene out of The Office where Donald Trump tries to catch Jerome Powell in a lie, even though Jerome Powell is not lying, Donald Trump is. And then Jerome Powell literally spanks him on live TV.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking at the construction, and we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're just taking a look at what's happening. You know, it's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Doesn't he just come across like he's just Donald Trump's little like sidekick? Like he's not a senator. He's basically just like, I don't know. He just exists as like a prop. It's very strange. Like he's just so subservient.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit. Or a lot.
All right, now what I need you to do is I need you to clock Jerome Powell during this moment because he's just in real time going, it's incredible. Truly one of the bravest men, courageous men in our country, that he's standing up to this authoritarian dictator, not leaving his position, and then also pushing it back to him in real time.
$3.1 billion. It went up a little bit or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
Entire capital plan.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off, everyone.
Incredible. Now, here is how Lawrence O'Donnell talked about that moment.
From how close he was to Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump chose to stand close to another white man today. Although when they were standing together, only one of them looked white because one of them was covered in a badly applied orange makeup product. The man with the orange makeup is the most self-obsessed human being on planet Earth, and he has full access to mirrors all the time.
He's amazing. Lawrence O'Donnell, I feel like he's like one of the only reporters on TV right now in mainstream media that just tells it like it is. God bless him.
And that means he has seen his face without the orange makeup and with the orange makeup, and he's decided that he looks better with it, which leaves you wondering just how much older than Jerome Powell would Donald Trump look if he wasn't covered in orange makeup. Donald Trump is 79 years old. Jerome Powell is 7 years younger and immeasurably more intelligent than Donald Trump. And that was on display today when Donald Trump, in his failed attempt to divert our attention from his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, went to the Federal Reserve headquarters, which is being remodeled, and thought he would shame Jerome Powell because the construction project was over budget, according to a piece of paper given to Donald Trump by the most incompetent White House staff in history, a piece of paper that took Jerome Powell seconds to read and seconds more to explain to Donald Trump how wrong his piece of paper is. It was the perfect lesson in why Donald Trump normally avoids confronting anyone who he knows is much, much smarter than he is.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
We finished Martin 5 years ago.
Donald Trump claims to be the real estate guy. Jerome Powell doesn't claim to be the real estate guy. But Jerome Powell apparently did very well in arithmetic in elementary school. By the time Jerome Powell was in the 3rd grade, he could have done what you just saw him do to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was adding in the cost of a 3rd building that was built 5 years ago. And Jerome Powell handed Donald Trump a kind of humiliation no president before him has ever suffered. And so that Trump video humiliation will now be seen by millions and millions and millions of viewers just over the next 24 hours. It's very likely going to be on Stephen Colbert's show and other late night shows. They'll be running that video, then it'll be running on YouTube. And yes, there's something especially delicious about a clown being clowned like that. But what's important about it is that that was the very best move Donald Trump thought he had today to try to turn news coverage away from the birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein that bears Donald Trump's name and what we now know to be several copies.
Good point. Good point. That's Donald Trump operating at his best. And that means that the country is still operating at its worst. And I just want to end with this because there are still consequences in this country. George Santos is going off to prison for 87 months for fraudulent charges and his multiple crimes. Good luck, George Santos. I do not wish you well, and I hope you learn your lesson, but I don't think you will. If you like what Lawrence O'Donnell said, hit like, leave a blue heart. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. We have a lot of fun here, and I'll see you next time.